All right, good morning. Zoomed in a little bit too much there. Hurricane's coming. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, the music. I don't know what happened to that music today. I just realized there was no music. All I know is I'm starting to get a little allergic to this dog, man. It's causing some problems for me. That's all I know. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday, October 9th. Bruce, Dirty Bird, Yaz, Chef, Emmy, Britt, good morning, CJ, Trader J, Sofan, David, Robert, Kavi, Tashambi, good morning. Ponzi and Margin, as always, 3D Printer, Mac. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Google News? No, what happened with Google? Possible breakup of search engine business? Interesting. I don't really know who's going to beat them at that game, but yeah, interesting. Yeah, AMD went for the gap fill. That gap fill has been completed. NVIDIA is just absolutely on a tear. Love to see it. That SMH strength we talked about yesterday continued once again. The Mets won. Beautiful. Absolutely. Mets are hot, man. They're hot. Jed, appreciate you joining. Let's get a little update on Milton. Let's see what time that thing's hitting me. So it actually moves sort of north, so I don't even think it's going to be that bad by my house. I feel like I didn't even need to put shutters up, to be honest. But let's see. Because it moved north. And, yeah, I mean, the cone was anywhere between Cape Coral and I think Tampa. Now it looks like it's moved a little bit to the north. I'm down here in Naples. So, yeah, I mean, I'll get a little bit of winds, maybe 30, 40 mile an hour winds. Really nothing crazy. If it stays on this track, of course. If it stays on this track. A little bit of storm surge maybe down by the... It's choppy when this website comes up. This website must pull a lot of data. But yeah, that's it. Not much. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. Les, appreciate you joining. All right. Let's jump into the economic calendar. And then we'll jump into the charts. We'll talk about what happened yesterday, which was so beautiful. The 486 retest was a thing of beauty yesterday. A thing of beauty. So today is Wednesday. We do have FOMC minutes at 2 o'clock. That's really about it. The 10-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. I don't really expect the FOMC minutes to do too much here. Sorry about my nose being clogged today, guys. Sorry about the allergies. The dog's starting to get to me a little bit, I think. Maybe it's just like a buildup of it. 10-year bond auction, FOMC minutes, 2 o'clock. I don't really think you should see too much, maybe just a little bit of up and down volatility on this. I think, basically the story is pretty clear of what's going to be, the Fed has already sort of talked about it in their last meeting about what they're planning on doing. So if there's really no changes to that plan, then this probably won't do much besides just some volatility. Now, of course, if there's something new that was talked about in the press release that they are going to release today, then yeah, something may get affected. But overall, you just know what to do. Proceed with caution. 2 o'clock. We're always cautious around these events, so be aware there. Make sure you're aware of it. If you're holding any large swing trades, make sure you're comfortable. 1 o'clock, bond auction as well. So that's that. 9:15 today, some more FOMC members. 10:30, 12 o'clock, right? Yeah, that's really it, right? Just some FOMC members speaking, some talking heads, and then that 2 o'clock FOMC minutes. And that's really it. CPI tomorrow is, I think, the big event. And then PPI on Friday. I think the market's most likely anticipating this, waiting for this, right? This is going to be a big one tomorrow at 8:30. So if you do hold any swing trades overnight, make sure you know you are swing trading into CPI. Costco. Yeah, Costco, really strong move off that 880 yesterday. Really nice break and retest. So that is something we're going to watch today. All right. NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Man, what a beautiful, beautiful move yesterday. Right off our 20,170, 20,200 area. You guys can see right here, right? What did we talk about yesterday before the market opened? We were here on the live stream, and we said the NASDAQ needs to hold above the 20,050 to 20,030 zone. And if it does, right, and it holds above these previous highs, then you can see that market move higher and fill this downside move. That is exactly what the market did yesterday. So if you came to the live stream yesterday and you paid attention, you should be very in tune with what the market did yesterday. We couldn't have read it better. Perfect 20,050 hold, right there. Perfect previous highs right there, holding as new support. You had the straight down move. You can get the straight back up. That's exactly what happened. You move up into the supply high, which is that 20,170. You get a squeeze above it. You pull back to it, and you turn it into a support, right? And that 20,170 break and retest, turning into a new long opportunity intraday. I mean, it was just an absolutely gorgeous day in terms of levels, everything just lining up perfectly. So yesterday, you guys can see right here, 20,170, perfect double bottom low right at that previous high. That was the high from right here, 20,170. That was Monday's highs. That turned into a perfect Tuesday low. Really clean stuff there on the NASDAQ futures. Here's the 15-minute chart. Right there. Right there. Perfect. Today, you guys can see this level is still defending. So this is without a doubt our level to watch today. 20,170 to 20,200. If we get pullbacks to this level, we are going to look for long opportunities anywhere in this 20,170 to 20,200 area. That's going to be big. That's going to be where I'd look for longs if we get that pullback back into that low from yesterday and back into those Monday's highs. I will look to see if buyers step up in this zone for new long opportunities. If we break back under 20,170, then I would no longer be interested in longs because a break back under 20,170 would be a break back under this low and a break back under Monday's highs, which I think would cause downside pressure. So 20,170 for me today is the line in the sand, anywhere between 20,170 and 20,200. If we maintain above that level, markets probably stay relatively sideways. We could see that long maybe back into that 20,330, which is yesterday's highs, which is also, if I zoom out, the exact high. One second. The exact high from right here. Double top high was the exact high from yesterday, 20,330. Bam, bam, bam. So, 20,330 is our upside supply level to be careful of. If we want to long, we don't want to be long right near that 20,330. We'd like to be long down at this 20,200 to 20,170 area. That's where we want to be long, back into that 20,330. If we get over 20,330, right, and we see a hold above that, then we're going to move up to the 20,400 supply, and that'll be your push of the day. Okay, so look for that pullback long today. Pullback longs have been the right answer. Even through all this chop, you guys have seen how I've stayed on that larger term analysis and how the larger term analysis continues to play out, and it continues to pay attention to the long term. The longer term analysis has continued to pay attention to. That has been the right way to be on the market, even though we do have some intraday scalps to the downside, right, which is very nice, and there is opportunities there. You still need to make sure you're understanding of the larger term picture, and there's no doubt that the larger term picture is still that same daily chart, SPY, break and retest of previous all-time highs. This is still the larger term picture, and this is without a doubt bullish. There is nothing bearish about this on the SPY. Zero. There is zero bearish about this. Not a single ounce of this is bearish. So, while there is some intraday rejections and intraday downside, it has absolutely paid to be on the right side of this market, which is still upside as long as this SPY is holding above previous all-time highs. It's very clear there, and we got to stay on the right side of it. NASDAQ futures, so again, today, we're watching that 20,330. We're watching that 20,400. We're watching that 170 to 200. Under 170, we drop into the 20,250 again. Okay, let's go to the QQQ. Britt, appreciate that. Appreciate that. 1,000 likes. I appreciate that, Britt. Press that like button. Press it. I'm going to start running some aggressive ads, man. All right. We have been talking about 486 all week, and 486 could not have been a more beautiful level yesterday. We longed it. We took profits. It came back down to it and created another long and even sexier long later day, which is wild to see. 486, and Monday's all-day rejection 486. We had the all-day rejections at 486, causing downside back into the 20 SMA, back in the 481 demand. We push higher. Yesterday we talked about how important it is for the Qs to hold over 483. It did exactly that. It held over 483 all morning. We got the push to the upside. And this just could not have been a more beautiful break and retest on the intraday. Right here, 486 yesterday. We had this flagging formation back down into 486. We had a long off this level. Posted a live trade of this trade on Instagram. Maybe I'll make a little YouTube video about this one. We were long the Qs right in here, trusting our level, trusting our break and retest strategy. And man, what a beauty. Break, retest, long. This is exactly the strategy that I trade every day. Set up your longs here on the retest. Risk right under it. Target that upside push. That's risk reward all day. Beautiful. Not only did it do that, later in the day, you came right back to it. Look at that again, 486, bam, and that created an even larger long opportunity off that same level again yesterday. Beautiful levels. Levels are leveling. If you tell me technical analysis doesn't work, get the hell out of here, because that's just means you don't pay attention to anything on the intraday basis. That is a perfect 486 level, and that is exactly how you find those trades intraday. Beautiful. To the upside, 489.50, 489.50, 489.50, 489.50. That is exactly the supply high, right? And that is the level that we need to get above today. We need to be careful up here. This is not the place to get aggressive long. The place to get aggressive long was on the 486 retest yesterday. So today, we need to be a little bit more careful, right, of catching those longs because we're up at that supply again. 49.50, double top high here, which was also a double top high, which caused this major downside. So we got to get above 49.50 on the QQQ. That is the exact level right here at 20,330, right, on the NASDAQ futures. So 20,330, And 489.50 are both, that upside supply level that we need to be aware of today. If we get above those, we'll move into that 491 Qs, and we'll move into that 20,400 NASDAQ futures. On the QQQ, the pullback level that I'd be watching is anywhere between this 487 and 486. I'd really like the 486, right? That would really be what I'd want, the 486. If we can get the 486 pullback today, this would be a very interesting long once again. That would really be where I'd like to see it back to. It could be 487, and I'll show you why it could be 487. Because 487 is where that 20,200 is, right? You see right here, 20,200, 20,200, right? 487 is 20,200, right here. See that? 487, right around here. So it could be 487. It could be 486. It's that whole dollar zone here that I'm going to be watching for sort of that pullback and that buying opportunity. I'm just going to leave 486 on my Qs chart because this is really the juicy one for me, right? If I can get this, I'm definitely looking for it. I'll be a little bit cautious at that 487. You might need that 486, right? I don't really want to long 487, go down into like $1 of drawdown, and then have to sit through that. So I'm going to probably be a little bit more patient and just wait for the 486. If we don't get it, then I'll probably just hold my swing trades, something along those lines. I'm really going to look for 486 as my new entry point on this long. Are these zones drawn by an indicator? No. These zones are drawn by me every single day, taking time out of my day, reassessing, analyzing, putting in the levels, putting in the time. There's no indicator of success. There's no download this indicator and I will be a profitable trader. Okay? If you're trading off indicators, first of all, right? Let me explain a little something to you guys. And I think this is something that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to. Okay? Why am I so confident in the trades that I take on an intraday basis? Because I have put everything on this chart with my own eyes and my own fingers and my own brain. Everything on this chart is done by me and me only. So I am confident in the things that I do because I have done them myself. If I'm getting things through an indicator, through copying someone, through no work of my own, you will not be confident in the things that you do. How will you be confident if you didn't verify the information yourself? You're just flying blind off of some kind of either computer automation, some kind of other person online, and I'm talking about that to myself and to you about me, because I can teach you how to trade. I can teach you what to look for. I don't influence you to just solely copy me. You need to trade off of things that you have created your own and yourself, because that is the only way to be confident in the trades you take, and the only way to succeed in trading is to be confident in the trades you take, right? So start doing things on your own and figure it out, right? There's no road to success. There's no shortcut that's going to take you right to that end goal. Grazie mille. Appreciate that, Garbs. 489.50, 486. Let's go to the ES. Hopefully that little speech for you inspires you to do something today. All right, ES. What a beautiful hold once again at the 57.37 demand. Absolutely perfect. Look at this. Look at this daily chart. We've been talking about this daily chart. Previous highs into those lows. That's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 holds at previous highs. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days before the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, right? Maybe this is the day. That's not an analysis that I would trust. Please understand that. Just because it took 8 days here does not mean it's going to take 8 days here. But you can clearly see, man. Look at this. I mean, it's just perfection. I'm actually surprised it's even that clean, right? Perfect previous highs into new lows. That is about as clean as it's ever going to get. So that is why I've stayed long pretty much this entire time. And you know why I've been so interested in longs is because I think it's going to pay to be on the right side of this market in the larger term picture, right? It's going to pay to be on the right side of this market when you look at the larger term picture. So you guys can see right here. B Daniel, thanks for supporting the stream, by the way. Forgot to say thank you. Appreciate that, brother. 57.37, right? 57.37. Very nice demand hold. That's our key level. That's still holding. Yesterday, the key of the day, the most important thing of the day, and the thing we talked about here on the live stream, if you guys paid attention yesterday, we talked about the 57.62 level in great detail. We said how the ES needs to hold back above this previous low. We cannot fail back below that, which is where we were holding in that pre-market, and that is exactly what the ES did yesterday. The ES all morning held that 57.62. This was the reason I took longs around, I think it was like 5-10 minutes into market open. I started to see how the ES was building those holds at that 57.62 here at this pre-market low. And so I started to get interested in longs, looking for that upside off this move. And that is exactly what the ES did. That was sick. So really nice on the ES there, 57.62. That's going to be a level we continue to watch here. That was, once again, that previous high from that last week channel, right? Those last week rejections. Look how that turns into support. This is called the break and retest. This is market structure, right? You have the last week's highs at that 57.62, right? You turn that level into support both Friday of end of last week and end of day last week as well. Monday, you fail back below it, and that break causes aggressive downside. Yesterday, we get back above it, and we hold above it, and that's the level. That hold right there is the level that creates that upside, right? The hold right above that previous channel high from last week. Look how clean that is right there. That is the stuff that you want to be finding intraday. These are the levels that you need to be able to digest and understand, to find and sort of understand what the market can do, right? Look how clean that is. That is perfect. So 57.62, beautiful hold. Today, 57.80, 57.80, 57.80, anywhere between 57.80 and 57.86, I would say is a potential hold spot. You can see right here, this 57.80 is big. If we go to this 15-minute chart, we can see the 57.80. We can see the 57.80 double bottom lows. You can see the 86 area here, right? So anywhere between this area is where I think you got to hold. If you break under 57.80 today, I think you will see downside back into that 62, okay? If you break this 80, you will break down back into the 62 and maybe back down into that 20 SMA for that next long opportunity. That is very possible, right? This could be just a retracement long. If we get a little retracement here, right? Maybe we draw a little fib boy from the highs, right? Little retracement back to 57.62 is around a 61.8. That could be very nice. Or maybe it's a 50%, right? Or maybe it's just a 38.2 retracement back to 57.80. But there's probably going to be something of a retracement move, right? If you break under that 57.80, then I think it would get deeper, okay? So we got to hold over that 57.80 in my opinion. You fail that, you move to at least a 57.62. To the upside, this 5800 to 5807 is absolutely a heavy spot. I would be very careful here. 5807 to 5800. A lot of rejections here. Major rejections, previous rejections. If you get over 5807 today, you trade into the 5820. You trade into the 5830. Okay? Very nice levels. Let's continue. SPY. Let's go to the daily chart because we've talked about this daily chart every day. Let's keep talking about it every day. I'm going to engrave this into your mind as much as I can. This is a previous double top major all-time high that has turned into support all of the last week. That is a perfect 20 SMA consolidation, the 20 SMA catching up to price action. There is nothing much cleaner than this break and retest on the market. This is the largest term break and retest, probably the cleanest and largest term break and retest I have ever seen. And I'm not bullshitting you there. That is, I don't know if I've ever seen a break and retest on the daily chart using the previous all-time high as the new low. I don't think I have ever seen that in that such great detail. previous double top highs at all-time highs, right? Daily chart break and retest hold at that exact previous all-time high. That is about as clean as a chart gets. And this is why I've stayed long, and this is why I have had some trouble, right? This larger term analysis is the reason, and like the mindset behind this is the reason I had trouble in here, right? Because I just couldn't get out of my mind how beautiful that daily chart was, and how, I just want to stay long off this because this is so clean on that daily chart. Now, of course, there's a you got to make sure you can split up the time frames, right? Because it may look good on that daily chart, and you might think it looks really bullish, but that could take 7, 8, 9, 10 days to work out, right? Where if you're trading on an intraday basis, trading on the intraday, let's call that I, you're trading on the 5-minute, the 10-minute chart. So these things don't need to work out, right? They don't need to work out if you're looking at like that larger term analysis, right? So I was trying to play this idea, but I'm also trading on such a short-term time frame, so I just needed to do a little bit better of understanding, hey, this might just take some time, right? And so if I take these trades, give them time, take a month out, take 2 weeks out, be patient, be aware that it might just need to develop a little bit more. And I'm happy I've done that sort of this week because I pretty much just stayed long the semiconductors, and it's been paying off greatly. So really nice there on the SPY. I'd say you continue thinking about that larger term picture. I really don't think there's a reason to stray away from it. Not quite yet. Today, it's all about 573. 573, I think, is the major level. You guys can see right here. 573, 573, 573. You got to get above 573. If you can get above that level, I think you're going to all-time highs, okay? If you hold above 573 today, I don't see why you don't see 575. That would be all-time highs. That would be where I think your SPY goes to if you see us develop a hold over 573. If you do not develop a hold over 573 and you see a rejection, I think it's probably possible you get that 570 pullback. It's either 570 or maybe this 570, 150, maybe that 571 flat number where you sort of held yesterday. But again, I sort of like the 570 better. I don't know if I really trust this 571 that much. If you do get this pullback off 573, I really don't think I'd be that interested in longs until at least a test near this 570. I'd probably want to be very confident in that pullback long, and I think that only the main confidence would come back at this 570 level. So if we do reject this 573 today and we get downside, that 570 level is going to be the spot I'm watching. That's going to be the big spot to me. I think you'll probably find support before 570. Let me make that very clear, right? I would not be surprised to see like this 570, 150 step up a little bit, right? And we have to sort of look around in the other markets as well, right? So when we look at this NASDAQ futures, you're probably going to get a step up of demand at this 20,200. So then if the 20,200 steps up, then yeah, you're not going to get SPY down to 570. The only way SPY gets back down to 570 is if the ES breaks under this 5780, and that 5780 looks to equal right here around the 571.50 on the SPY, right? So you basically want to watch this 571.50. If you break under that 571.50 on SPY, then you're going to also be breaking under that 5780 on ES, which would cause that downside into 5762, and that 5762 is 570 on the SPY. So you can start to get an idea of how that plays out. As of right now, you're watching to see if 573 holds. If it does, I think you're going to all-time highs today. Okay, that's the semiconductors. I'm sorry, that's the futures, and I can't talk. I can't talk today. That's the futures and the SPY and QQQ ETF. We're about to jump into some semiconductors, some individual stocks. 2,200 people here. We're not quite at 1,000 likes. Well, I hold longs to CPI. Maybe some really small size, Bruce. Nothing that's like Man, I can't believe I blew up my account because I held longs through CPI, right? Those days are over for me, guys. At some point, we mature. At some point, you will find the maturity in your trading to just be like, yeah, why am I doing that? So, yeah, I mean, I'll maybe look to risk a few $100, right? Maybe a few $1,000, have a little bit of fun with it. But am I longing through CPI with my entire account? Unfortunately, and I don't even know why I say unfortunately. Unfortunately, those days of the thrill seeking of my trading, those days are over, man. I don't. It's not something I really am interested in. I like to sleep at night. Yeah, shit, Chris. I should have done that. I really liked what Chris did yesterday. Smart man. I might follow Chris on this. Chris Jones bought some Weight Watcher shares yesterday. And he's up 100% in one day. Not bad. Shit. He posted about it, and I was like, I sort of like that idea. Because there's really nothing to lose. And at 81 cents, what's there to lose? So Weight Watchers announced the GLP-1. I'm doing this because you shoot it into yourself. Weight Watchers adds compounded GLP-1. That's the new hype word, man. GLP-1 is like it's like blockchain, or it's like marijuana. That's the new thing. GLP-1. We can create a company now called GLP-1 Holdings. I guarantee you that thing's up 1,000% in 2 weeks. I guarantee that. If someone comes out with a company called GLP-1 Holdings, I bet you that thing will be up at least 100% in a day. Yeah, Weight Watchers could be something to watch. Buy a few shares of it. All right? I don't mind it. Might be a little bit of a runner. I don't know what it really means for Weight Watch. Don't ask me about this, okay? This is a dark horse shot in the dark. But there's a reason for upside. GLP-1 coming to Weight Watchers. Do what you want with that information. All right, let's continue. Let's go to the SMH. So SMH 256, man. This is going to be a big spot for SMH. 256. Daily chart supply. If we get the SMH over 256, then I think there is a lot more on the semiconductors here. Over 256, I think the party's just getting started for the semiconductors. If you can turn this previous level back into a support right here, then I think you are possibly looking at another, very much potential, another 10% of upside on the SMH into all-time highs. That's if you can turn this level into new lows. Then you are looking to trade within this channel up here. We'll have to see if we can do that, right? We'll have to see if we can do that. So 256, that's the big spot. I would also make sure you understand that 256 could be a short-term stall level, right? So you also need to be understanding that 256 could just make us stall here for an extended period of time because that is a major level. So be careful at 256 if you're long. Make sure you're understanding of that, but also understand that if you start to see this hold, then that is very important. 256, big spot. Pay attention to it on the SMH. Tesla. Man, I really can't help but think Tesla's creating a long opportunity here. It looks very interesting on this pullback, but as of right now, 245 is the must-break level. 245, that's where I need to see Tesla get back above. For now, I think it's just a pullback. I think the pullback is still holding very nicely at this 236. This still looks like a very controlled pullback move. We need to start reclaiming levels, though. 245, 252, and that 260, 259. The problem is for Tesla lately is the IV is just so inflated because of this robotaxi event that options are just not even worth trading at the moment. So I haven't really been touching it. I would say yesterday was another waste of a day under 245, this 252. You got to see Tesla hold this 20 SMA, right? You can see this 20 SMA. Hold this 20 SMA and start to really find some strength back above this 245. That's what I would look for. If not, I'd leave it alone. NVIDIA, just an absolute beast, man. When is NVIDIA not a beast? What a sick chart. The rainbow SMAs, the upside continuation. It's just been a thing of beauty. Yesterday, the 131 retests have to be one of the cleanest retest holds I've seen in quite some time on the intraday basis. Right here, 131. That's the exact 4-hour high. Look at this 5-minute chart yesterday. Look at the 2-minute chart yesterday on NVIDIA. 2-minute chart on NVIDIA. Break and retest at the exact 131 level. It could not have been cleaner. Look at this 2-minute chart on NVIDIA. Previous highs, 131. Lows, 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 lows. Wick lows, right? Wick, wick, wick. Buyer stepping up right at that 131. That is called, once again, my friends, break and retest long. That is sick. That is perfect. If you can learn to find these setups, you can trade successfully. That is an awesome setup. 131 retest, previous highs, right? Holding as new lows, 131, 4-hour chart, 131 as well, right there. What a beauty. What a beauty over 131. I said yesterday how I think if NVIDIA gets over 131, I don't think there's much reason for it to slow down until 137. And I think that's what you're getting here. I really don't see why NVIDIA would stop before 137. That is these highs right here. And this little gap, area. I don't see why NVIDIA stops before that level. There's really nothing here to slow it down. Your hope today is that you get a pullback to 131. That's your hope. If you want to be involved in NVIDIA, your hope is that you get at least this pullback back to 131. If you don't get that pullback to 131, then I would be watching the 133. Right here, 133. Possible short-term level to trade. Right here, previous highs. Little pre-market hold. If you get a pullback to 133, I'd look for that. But ideally, you get a pullback to 131 to really get aggressive for that upside move. 133, 131, target 137. NVIDIA, an absolute monster. AMD, gap fill. We've been talking about this for multiple weeks now, and it's done it. Beautiful job. Beautiful if you guys held this, if you played it. Here was your gap. The gap has filled at 174.50. If you hold above this 174.50, that is very, very bullish. Above 174.50, I really don't see why you don't trade into 184, 185. So, today, I would be watching the 174.50 level. That is very, very clear. And I would be looking to see if it maintains. If it does, that could be a fantastic break and retest long. And if you get a pullback, look at how beautiful this is. Bam, bam, bam. That is break and retest beauty. Break, retest. We long this on Monday. AMD, what a continuation. Charts are really charting lately, man. The charts have been charting. Rejection, rejection, support. Beautiful. AMD, gorgeous stuff. Broadcom, I'd like to see a pullback to this 178.50. I'm actually happy to see this downside right here. 178.50, 178.50, 178.50. Can we get that 178.50 hold? That's going to be the key today right here, 178.50. Bam, I'm going to look for that long off that level. If we can hold over 178.50, I am absolutely in interest in longs here. Here's your 15-minute chart. Bam, bam, bam. Watching that 178.50 very closely today. That would be the level I look for. Okay. Let's go to Meta. Meta, we longed yesterday off this 586.50 level. Nice little pullback long. But today, I'd be a little bit careful. I'd be a little cautious of this 593.50 level and that 597. The one that I'm more interested in watching today is Microsoft. The comeback trade on Microsoft. We talked about this yesterday, and maybe just coincidence, it's up quite a bit on the intraday yesterday. Microsoft was up about 2%. It's not quite there yet, though. It's not quite there yet. I'm not fully confident in it quite yet. I need more to show up. For now, I'm going to watch this 415.50, 414.50, 415 area, right? You can see right here. I'm going to look for that to hold strong, right? Around this 414.50, 415 area. If that holds strong, right, then that could be an interesting setup. If Microsoft can really hold strong here. Now, the problem I have for Microsoft is the 250 SMA above. That could cause problems, and that 420 supply. If you want to wait Microsoft out just a little bit, I think where you can really trust this upside is a break and hold over 420. I think that would really set this thing up, okay? So over 420 would really free up everything. It would free up the holds here. It would free up a hold above the 200 and the 50, and it would just sort of give you that confidence that we can try this long. For now, it looks like an inverse head and shoulder, right? And you're going to want this low to turn into a new low. 414, 415. Very nice look. I would pay attention to it. Google, I would look for Google to get set up as a long here back at this 162 level. This is a very nice level, 162, 20 and 50 SMA. Look for that potential long into 167. Amazon, downtrend is still intact here. I like this level around 173.50, but I'm a little bit cautious of this 187 above. I don't know if I'd want to long back into that. So not too interested there. Apple might be my most interesting long of the day. When I look at this daily chart on Apple, I just can't help but think that this 50 and 20 SMA is going to cause this to move higher again. If I look at this 30-minute chart, I can also see exactly where it needs to get above. If Apple gets above this 227 level and holds above it, there is little to no rejection points. All in here and all in here. Apple at some point, I would almost say this with 100% certainty. I will say this with 95% certainty because at least the 5% saves me from being wrong, right? So I can say 95. At some point, I am 95% certain that Apple will make up this downside move. This is not, leaving this on the chart is not typical. This will be made up at some point in the future, and it will be made up very aggressively. And it will be a huge opportunity, right? That's just how it happens. That's just what happens, right? Look at this. I'll show you an example of this if you don't believe me. It's exactly on Apple. This is Apple. You see that straight down move? Look what happened. Straight back up. Okay? Look at this. Guys, look at this. This is something you need to pay attention to. Look at this move straight down. Okay? Look at this move straight up. Look at this move straight down. Look at this move straight up. Look at this move straight down. There has not been the straight up move yet. This will happen. This will happen at some point. It's just how the stock trades and how all stocks trade. This is what I believe the ICT fancy boys call a fair value gap, right? I just like to call it straight down, straight up because that's all it is, and I don't need to complicate or impress anyone with bullshit terms, okay? It's straight down. It will go straight back up. Straight down, straight up. Straight down. This will go straight back up. It will happen, and I will be paying attention to it. I do not care what you want to call it. You could call it anything you want. But understanding that at some point, this move will create something back to that 233 level is absolutely something I'm watching. So I am going to pay attention to this. 227, right? That is going to be the level I watch. If you get above that, I think it's going to start. Back in the 229.50, back above that, then you're going to get it. So watching, very key, 227, 229.50, and 233. Those are the levels I'll be watching. If I can get this move above 227, I will be very interested to see if that sets something up right here. If it does, and it holds above these previous highs, I would be very interested in that move back into that 229.50. If you do that again, right, if you get above that at that point and hold above 229.50, then that's even more interesting for that full move into 233. There is some very clear levels here to pay attention to and to follow. I would be watching Apple, especially if the market starts to heat up. Doesn't mean it has to happen in the short term. I also want to let people know because Desi said Apple's going straight up today. No, I did not. Okay, that's not what I said. You could reject 227 today, and it could fail, and you could live in here for another 2 months, 4 months. You can live in here for 6 years, and then maybe on the 7th year you get the move. So That's not what I said. You got to get over 227. Boeing for margin. Let's take a look. Margin. Boeing, it's dead, man. It's dead. Muerto. Dead. This is the resemblance of a dead chart. To the graveyard. I mean, obviously the company's not going to go to the graveyard, but in terms of the intraday trading and what you should be doing here, this is dead. You should be looking. You should be not touching this with the 10-foot, the 30-foot pole. This is price action of a forgotten about stock, pretty much. That's what this is. A lot of opportunity cost of holding Boeing shares. That's why I sold my Boeing shares about a year ago. I realized how it's just a waste of a hold. It's just, guys, that you're wasting your time, in my opinion. This is money that could be better spent in stocks that are actually moving with the market, such as NVIDIA, such as AMD, right? Such as Microsoft on a pullback long idea, right? Or maybe you like, Google on this recent dip for some opportunity. Is sitting in your money in Boeing for now 4 years since COVID, right? Is just a waste. It's called opportunity cost, right? This money could have been sent into something else, and it could have been made back by now. I would ditch Boeing exposure. It may hurt to take that loss if you're in a loss, but this is just, it's just dead money, man. I really do believe that. I think it's dead money, and I think you got to figure out a better place for it to sit. I don't think you want to be involved in this thing. Maybe one day, right? And one day when Boeing starts to come back to dominance, which I'm sure it will at some point, you'll be there, right? And you'll be able to catch in. You'll be able to catch on. I mean, maybe you wait for Boeing to just sort of do its move back up towards these highs, because I would assume Boeing at some point will just sort of trade, do one of these, and maybe you want to try to catch it, on a sell back up here rather than selling it back towards these lows. I could understand that, right? I don't think you got to dump it right away, right? I don't think it's probably not going to see new lows. I would be very shocked to see Boeing see new lows. That would be bad. I would say it's probably just going to sort of live in this sideways sort of nothing channel, probably anywhere between 120 and 250. So maybe you wait for this cycle to come in and maybe you ditch it. I don't know. I just think overall, I would think your money is better spent somewhere else. That's my personal opinion. All right. All right. CrowdStrike. We got to head out in 3 minutes, but I want to show you a few more. CrowdStrike, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We talked about this chart over the last few weeks, really. We talked about this inverse head and shoulder. That is exactly what CrowdStrike has done. It broke that neckline. It held that neckline, and we're above that 293. If CrowdStrike holds above 293 today, this is a perfection break and retest. Look at this. Watch CrowdStrike today over 293. This could be really special. Keep an eye on this stock. CrowdStrike 293, big watch. Netflix straight up off that 700 spot. Costco finally working off that 880 level. Be careful on Costco 20 SMA here at 897, 900. You got to get above that. Yeah, TSM's going to get tough up here. 189.40, 190. Did I go over TSM? TSM, I'm long right now. I'm probably going to take profits on it today. Or we were in this yesterday at 185. Really nice swing trade. 189, 190 going to be tough, right? 189, 190 going to be tough. Yeah. 189, 190. Careful up there. 182. That would be the level I'm watching. 189, 190. And then pullback longs 182 would really be the nice spot. Right? 182. I think that's about it. NASDAQ, let's go over the futures again real quick before we jump out. 20,330, 20,330, 20,200 to 170, right? Very clear channel there. QQQ 486 would be the best long in my opinion. 489.50 would be the best short. ES 5800, 5807 upside supply. Be careful there. We gotta hold 5780 today. You gotta hold 5780. If you fail 5780, this drops lower. SPY 571.50's got to hold. You break that, you move into 570. 5780, I think, is your most important level to watch today. And then on the NASDAQ futures, the 20,170 to 20,200. This is your zone to watch. Be aware down here. This could set up your opportunities today. That's what I would be watching. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I think a lot of people are getting a lot of ads, so maybe I'll go back to, I don't know. We'll see. I'm doing it. Let me test this. If I don't see any type of material, if I don't see any type of material, like increase in ad revenue, then I will take it off. Because at the end of the day, guys, and whether you respect this or not, I am wanting to be paid for my time here on the live stream. It is free for you. YouTube pays me. Advertisers are the one paying me. So you don't need to worry about that. But if it really affects the experience, and I don't make any more money from those advertisers, then I will take them off. Know that. So I'm going to run it. I'm going to see what because I'm not touching the ads right now. It's fully automated. So totally automated. I'm happy not to touch anything. It makes my life easier. But if it's not a very noticeable increase, then I'll just take it off. All right. So we'll keep, for now, just a test. All right. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And you know what, man? Watch a few ads. Okay? Watch a few ads. I think you guys will survive. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. I don't know for sure because there is a storm coming. So I might be okay. I would hope. I think we'll be okay in terms of having power. I don't think it's going to be that bad by me. So follow me on Instagram. Follow me on X. Go ahead and do that, right? Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on X. That is on the bottom left of your screen. And you guys will know if I am going to be live tomorrow. Press that like button. Subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.